boys and girls, it's Mrs. Smiley. I wanted to share a story with you. It's again, I love Horton. And this is Horton Hears a Who. And this is a really fun Dr. Seuss book. I think one thing that you'll like about this story is it has our same character that we really liked from our other Horton book, Horton Hatches the Egg. And we really enjoyed that one. And so I think it'll remind you of a couple other Dr. Seuss books. It might remind you of The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Remember all the Who's down in Whoville? So there's a lot of books that are kind of connected that you might make a connection to, okay? So this is Horton Hears a Who by Dr. Seuss. Put on your listening ears. And I will put on my glasses and we will get started. Here we go. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Knoll, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing and he looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton, there's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton, but who are you? Where? He looked and he could see nothing there, but a small speck of dust blowing past through the air. Can you see it right here? A little speck of dust? I say, murmured Horton, I never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust, some sort of creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant's eye. So he thinks there's somebody on that speck of dust. What do you guys think? Do you want to make a prediction? Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that he'll blow in the pool and he has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him because after all, a person's a person no matter how small. So Horton thinks there's somebody on that speck of dust and he's going to save them. So gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air. He lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover right on top of it. Maybe it was a four-leaf clover. Humph, humphed a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said humph too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that, why, there never has been. Believe me, said Horton, I tell you sincerely, my ears are quite keen and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four. Quite likely a family for all that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Please just let them be. So he thinks this little speck of dust could have a family down there. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Knoll. And the kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. The kangaroos plunged in the cool of the pool. What a terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and he hustled away. Yeah, they were getting a lot of water. Through the high jungle top treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a dust speck. He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on that flower. And Horton walked, worrying, for almost an hour. Should I put the speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down, and I won't, after all. A person's a person, no matter how small. See how they're laughing and making fun of Horton? There's his little clover. Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton, and he put his ear near it. My friend, came the voice. "You're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folks on this dust speck no end. You saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You saved all the churches and grocery stores." They're thanking Horton. "You mean," Horton gasped, "you have buildings there too?" "Oh, yes," piped the voice, "we most certainly do." "I know," called the voice. "I'm too small to be seen, but I'm the mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are all thankful and grateful to you." And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, "You're safe now, don't worry. I won't let you down." So there's Whoville. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, three big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickersham Brothers came shouting, "What rot! This elephant's talking to Whos who are not. They aren't any Whos. There aren't any Whos, and they don't have a mayor, and we're going to stop all this nonsense, so there." Look at that. They're trying to get the clover. Oh, no. They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to a black-bottomed eagle named Vladikoff, a mighty strong eagle of very swift wing. And they said, "Will you kindly get rid of this thing?" And before the poor elephant could even speak, the eagle flew off with the flower in his beak. Oh, no. He's not a very nice eagle. All that late afternoon and far into the night, the black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones. And he begged, "Please don't harm all the little folks who have as much right to live as us bigger folks do." But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder he called back, "Quit your yapping. I'll fly through the night. I'm a bird, I don't mind it, and I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find it." Oh no, look, he's climbing up the big rocky hills. He's trying to catch up with the bird. At 6:56 the very next morning he did it. It sure was a terrible place that he hid it. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. "Fine that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail." And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. He's dropping it. Do you think he's going to be able to find it in the middle of all of that? Or, oh, look at Horton, too. Look how tired and sore he is. "I shall find it," cried Horton. "I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on that small speck of dust." And clover by clover, with care, he picked up and searched them, and he called, "Are you there?" By clover by clover, he found that the one that he sought for was just not around. By noon, poor old Horton was more dead than alive. He picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. Oh, look at poor Horton. He's so tired. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last on the 3,000,000th flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, do tell, are you safe, are you sound, are you whole, are you well?" Do you think they're going to be okay? From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor. "We've really had trouble, much more than our share. When that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped, we landed so hard that our clocks have all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs smashed, and our bicycle tires blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please," pleaded the voice of the mayor, "will you stick by us Whos while we're making repairs?" "Of course," Horton answered, "of course I will stick. I'll stick by you small folks through thin and through thick." They've got to fix a lot of things, don't they? "Humph," humphed a voice. For almost 2 days, you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who never existed. Such carrying-ons in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state, snapped the big kangaroo, that your silly, nonsensical game is all through. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too. Oh no, the monkeys have a rope. What do you think they're going to do to poor Horton? With the help of the Wickersham Brothers and dozens of Wickersham uncles and Wickersham cousins and Wickersham in-laws whose help I've engaged, you're gonna be roped. You're gonna be caged. And as for that dustback, that we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of bezelnut oil. Boil it? gasped Horton. Oh, that you can't do. It's full of persons, and they'll prove it to you. Okay. Mr. Mayor, Horton called. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out. Make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. But if you don't, every who is going to end up in a bezelnut stew. Oh no. That was terrible. Down on the dustback, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in the Whoville town square, and all of his people cried loudly. They cried out in fear, We are here! We are here! We are here! We are here! Do you think the kangaroos heard them? I don't know. They're all yelling. Let's see. The elephant smiled. That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well. All I heard, snapped the big kangaroo, was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me neither. And remember, elephants have very big ears, and they can hear really good. Grab him, they shouted, and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie knots tight so he'll never shake loose. And dunk that dumb Speck in the bezelnut juice. Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang, they were just too much for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call to the mayor, Don't give up. I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard. Now come on and try. The mayor grabbed a tom-tom. He started to smack it, and all over Whoville they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles and beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops, and on old cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots, on clarinets, oomphas and boomphas and flutes. Look at them all. They're making such a big noise. Do you think they heard that? Make a prediction. Great gusts of loud racket ran high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling mad hullabaloo. Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through? And Horton called back, I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears just aren't as strong as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is anyone shirking? Now, shirking means they're not doing their job. Through the town rushed the mayor from east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing their best. Everyone seemed to be yapping and yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping and bipping. But it wasn't enough, all this ruckus and roar. He had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. So see the mayor, he's running around to make sure everybody's making noise. Everybody's yelling. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker through a door. Oh, one shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax Apartments, apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip or a chirp, and the mayor rushed inside and grabbed the young twerp. Can you see Jojo? There he is. He's not making any noise. He climbed with the lad. Now, lad's another word, an old-fashioned word for the boy. He climbed with the lad up the Eiffelberg Tower. This, cried the mayor, is your town's darkest hour. This time for all who have blood that is red to come to the aid of their country, he said. We've got to make noises in greater amounts, so open your mouth, lad. Let every voice count. Thus he spoke as he climbed and went, and when they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and he shouted out, "Yop!" Do you think that did it? Do you think the kangaroos heard? And that yop, that small extra yop, put it over. And finally, at last, from the speck on the clover, the voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. Do you see what I mean? They prove they are persons, no matter how small, and their whole world was just saved by the smallest of all. How true, yes, how true, said the big kangaroo. And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, what do you think the little kangaroo is going to say? Me too. From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how smallish. And that is Horton Hears a Who. So he heard something that no one else heard, but he really believed in it, and he really wanted to help people, just like he wanted to help Maisie in our other story. He sat on the egg for her, and he wanted to take care of that baby egg. He wanted to help the baby in the egg. So in this story, Horton's trying to save a whole town on this little speck of dust, the Whos who live on Whoville. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed the story. Draw a picture of your favorite part, and you can write a few sentences to go with it. Okay? Bye, boys and girls. Have a good day.